Turn off my video. All right, everyone, welcome. So today we're going to be learning about Seesaw. So thank you for coming. It looks like Becky and Eric are here right now. So I'm going to get started, and as other people join in, they can just kind of jump in. I have the participants muted, so we're not talking over each other. And then I will just start sharing with you. So thank you so much for coming. This is my first webinar. And of course, I had technical issues right off the bat with Google not working. So I'm glad that Zoom is working. Can I just get a thumbs up from everyone if you're hearing me okay? Eric is. Heather, can you hear me? Heather looks like she can't hear yet. Let's see. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started and hope that we are doing okay here. There is a chat feature, so if you click on the chat, if you have any questions or if you can't hear me right now, I suppose you wouldn't hear me say this, but if you look in the chat feature, you can use that to ask me any questions as we get started. So we're going to get started with Seesaw today. Seesaw, well, first of all, introducing myself, I'm the Tech Integration Specialist for Princeton. I think most of you know that already. And I'm also a Seesaw ambassador. And I'm just really passionate about teachers finding innovative ways to encourage those 21st century skills and the 4 C's in their classroom, which is why I am sharing Seesaw with you today. So continue on here. So for those of you participating tonight, I've assigned you a number, and actually I am noticing that that needs to be updated. So I'm going to update that real quick live on air while we're here. And then Becky, I'm going to add you in as well because I know you're there. And you don't need to worry about this number. This is just something that we're going to use later. If you use the wrong number, that's not a big deal. But these are what we're going to use so that you can participate as a student tonight. So thank you for allowing me to fix that for you. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about what Seesaw is, why you should use it in your classroom. You're also going to experience Seesaw as a student. I'm going to show you lots of ideas and examples. And we'll do some class setup and time-saving tips, talk a little bit about digital citizenship and what Seesaw has done to help promote good digital citizenship, and then any questions, help, and resources that you need. So what is Seesaw? Seesaw is a digital portfolio, so it's a way that collects all of your students' work. It's a device that you can use, or a program you can use across curriculum. From math and science and reading to music to art. Our art teacher at the intermediate school is using this solely as his art presentation this year. So that's his art show is all on Seesaw, which is pretty interesting. I'm going to show you a quick video here of a 5th grade student explaining what Seesaw is. So give me just a second to pull this up for you.
So Seesaw is a new program that we started this year. It's on the iPads. It really is, to the core, a communication device between parent, teacher, and students. What makes it such a neat program or app is that it's really student-driven.
Seesaw is a digital portfolio for kids. It's a safe and secure program that only your students and parents, if wanted, and other teachers can access.
Seesaw is basically a Facebook page, but kid-friendly. You can take pictures and post them, and you can comment, and it's for sharing what you've learned and sharing with your friends, and it's really fun. I like it. You only post learning stuff, like this was for science, and we post it on Seesaw, and then it will let our parents have Seesaw app, so they, after we do it, it will send it to our parents, and our parents can see what we learned for the day, like at science or reading or whatever, like writing.
One of my favorite things about Seesaw is that they get notification when their child posts something, and that they could go in at any time during the day and listen to their child's voice and listen to what they are learning in the language that they are using in the classroom.
Watching them work and learn how to do new things that I didn't know the program could do, and how they respond to each other is really, really neat. So just watching them grow as learners through this program, I think, has been my favorite part about it.
It's just a way to connect. I think that anytime that kids are engaged through technology and can connect or share their learning or know that someone else is watching and possibly commenting or enjoying, it makes it 100% more authentic. And the kids are then in turn a lot more engaged, and the quality sometimes comes out better then.
All right, so like I said, that's just a quick video that was created by some students. So I like sharing that as part of the presentation because it's just a really neat way to see some student and teacher perspective, and I think it shows how Seesaw really is something that students understand and can figure out quite easily. So what are some things that teachers say that have used Seesaw? So these are some words that they've used to describe Seesaw: empowering, endless, fantabulous, sounds like a word I would use, unlimited, comprehensive, possibility. Seesaw is really just something that can be used for so many different things. I've actually been using Seesaw for about 1.5 years prior to this position, and I'm just amazed as I get to know more about Seesaw what teachers are doing. And so I'm very excited to share that with teachers in our district, because I think this could be a game changer in how your students present their learning and produce their learning, and also share their learning, not just with you, but with their parents. So some reasons why teachers love Seesaw: it really gives students the power to document their learning. As we go through the steps today, you may think, oh, this is kind of tricky, having to know how to take a picture and log in. And just from experience in a 3rd grade classroom, my kids got this in a heartbeat. And it got to the point where I could very quickly just say, this is a Seesaw assignment, and my students would know exactly what to do and expectations. I've done this in kindergarten, and again, the students were able to quickly figure it out all the way up to 5th grade. I think this could be used all the way up K-12. The format seems a little younger, which is why I'm kind of gearing my trainings towards the younger grades. Some other reasons that teachers love Seesaw is it does help students develop writing skills and reflection and critical thinking. Those are part of those 4 C's, those 21st century skills that are vital, which it also says here. I liked what that kid said about how it's like Facebook for kids, because this really is like a social media platform that's completely safe for our kids. It is a great way to teach them how to be safe online, how to comment safely, how to write correctly and appropriately, so that when we do send them out into the world of social media, they're a little more prepared. A couple of the reasons that teachers love Seesaw: there's a strong community. So when I introduce Seesaw, I always tell our students this is one more community they belong to. So they belong to our classroom, they belong to the school, they belong to our Seesaw community. So we need to treat it like a community and be caring and respectful. It puts all of their information and their creations into one spot. So I think of the parent, because we have this at my house that has like 2, 3, 10 boxes of kids' art projects. Having it on Seesaw is a really great way to eliminate that need to save absolutely everything, because it is saved digitally and parents have access to that. And also it saves this, this is great for conferences. I actually had students share their Seesaw portfolio at conferences in 3rd grade. And it was a great way for them to take ownership of their learning. We also found some great ways to do assessments with Seesaw and even newsletters. So this is really a time saver. You know, a goal of mine is for you to be able to work smarter, not harder, and put more of the work in the students' hands. And I really feel that Seesaw will help you get there. So we are going to jump in and experience Seesaw as a student today. So I hope you have a device ready, like an iPad. If you don't, even if you can just open up Seesaw in another tab and kind of toggle back and forth, we're going to experience this as a student for now. So to do this, I'm actually going to share my iPad screen with you, because I know most of you, when you are doing Seesaw with your students, you'll be using an iPad. Now, you can use Seesaw on an iPad, on a Chromebook, on a laptop. It can be used anywhere, on your iPhone, Android, and for the most part, it looks the same. So I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you a couple slides of what to expect. Then I'll show you how to do the first assignment with sharing my iPad screen, and then I'm going to give you time to be a student. So if we look here, every time you open Seesaw, there's 6 options: photo, video, drawing, camera roll, unless you're on a computer, and then this is going to say share a PDF. Notes, so you can actually type up notes, and links. And then down here we have 4 options: rotate, record voice, draw on it, or add a caption. So we're going to do a first assignment today in just a moment in our new Seesaw class, which is to sign in and add a photo. So I'm going to model the steps for you, and then I'm going to ask you to do the same. So this is where I'll be sharing my screen with you. Now, as you sign in as a student, so if you're signed into Seesaw right now as a teacher, I want you to log out. When you sign in as a student, depending on what screen you're on, or what device you're on, this is what it'll look like. And so for whatever classes I'm working with, I always just tell students to look for the kids and click on I'm a student. And then 2 things will pop up. If they're on an iPad, it's going to pop up a QR reader right away. But also in the bottom here, you'll see that there's a text code that you can enter. I'm going to give you that in just a moment. And then over here, this is what it looks like if they're on the Chromebook or web. A camera will open on a Chromebook as well, and they can scan the code, or you can enter in the code. This is an example of a student scanning the code. So if you have these posters around your classroom, they can scan that. Or they can type it in here. One thing I want to make sure that you're really careful of, though, remember we said that Seesaw is a very safe community. If you have your students scanning that, don't ever take a picture. So in fact, this is a bad example. I don't think we can really see this code, but we never want to take a picture and post it on social media of our code because we don't want strangers coming into our Seesaw classroom. So always make sure that anything you're posting doesn't include your classroom text code or your classroom QR code. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my iPad screen with you, and I'm going to show you how we are going to get logged in today. So give me just a second for this to work. All right, and then I'm just going to make sure I'm doing the right screen with you. So hopefully now you can see my iPad screen. So as a student, I'm going to click on I'm a student, and then we are going to use a text code for this class. So I click on use text code, and I'm going to share that code with you. And you can go ahead and kind of sign in with me as we're doing this. Our code for this class is JHQSU. I'm going to put it in the chat. QSU. So once you type that in, you will be joined to our class. And you'll notice our class here is just numbers, okay? So I want you to pick the number I gave you earlier. If you grab the wrong number, it's not a big deal. This is just a way for us to practice. So I'm going to click on number 10. I'm going to say, yes, I'm signing in as number 10. And right now you'll notice that on Seesaw, everything has a green check. The green check means I'm done doing what I need to do. So I'm going to click on the green check. And then I always tell students we always say no to notifications, because if we say yes to notifications, every iPad is going to ding all day long. We don't want that. So notifications, we always say no thanks. So now we're going to do our first assignment. So remember I told you that whenever we're in Seesaw, we have these 6 different options. So we have the photo, the video, drawing, camera roll, notes, or a link. So since our first assignment tonight is to do a selfie, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm kind of excited about this because, as some of you know, I just bought a house. So I'm going to take a selfie. This is me in our new basement. Now, after we take the picture, you will see that there's 4 buttons down here on the bottom. I can rotate my picture. Not necessary, but kids like to do that. I can record voice. I can draw, or I can do a text. So I'm going to type in a caption here. And did you notice that I can either do a caption or a label? This new label feature is awesome, and I have seen some very cool ways teachers are using this in education that I will share with you. But I'm going to add a caption. So I will just say, this is me enjoying my new house. All right, and then I'm going to hit the green check mark, because the green check mark means that I am done doing what I need to do. So I click the green check mark. I'm going to check it one more time, and I can see that my picture is here, and this is my caption. It's correct. So I can hit the green check again. And now it is loading into our class. And you'll notice here that it says waiting for approval. In Seesaw, you can set up your class so that every post needs approval. And this is a great way for us to be that barrier for students before they're posting anything, that you get a chance to look at it first. It's a great reminder for students that they're at school and what they're posting has to be appropriate. So right now, what I would like for you to do is to go ahead and share your first selfie. So I'm going to go back to the main screen. Give me just one quick second here. All right, thank you for waiting. So on the desktop here, I'm going to go back, and now you are going to do the same assignment. So you're going to take a photo, you are going to enter text, and then hit the green check that you're done with the text, the green check that you like how it turned out, and then pick your number. Again, don't worry if it's the wrong number, and then hit green check again. So I'm going to give you a moment to do that first assignment, and then we will look at it from the teacher side of what it looks like as those assignments are coming in. So go ahead and do that. I'll give you about 3 minutes to go ahead and take care of that. I feel like we should have some music while we do this. This would be a really good time for Go Noodle. Yeah, but we're not going to take time to do that. So as you're starting to do that assignment, I'm going to show you what it looks like from the teacher view. So I'm logged in here on Seesaw as a teacher. And you can see that down here, my screen says 2 unapproved items. So I'm going to click on those. And I can see that Eric has completed his assignment, and I see that he is excited about learning about Seesaw tonight, so we're going to approve his assignment. And we are going to approve my assignment as well. So again, this is a really nice feature of Seesaw that you have the ability to check what students are doing ahead of time. And I'll kind of, while we're waiting for a couple more of you, hopefully to be able to do that assignment. If I click over here, this is where all of my settings are. So if I click on my name, for Seesaw Professional Development class, if I go to notifications, then I can see if there's anyone who wants to add an item. I can also go back to my feed view. This is the view that shows everything that's been approved, so students can see each other's work, which is kind of a neat feature. Again, that's like that Facebook feature where they get to see each other's work. You'll notice that they can also like or comment on each other's work, and those are some features that we will talk about a little bit later. So I'm going to go back to notifications here. All right, and we have one unapproved item. Oh my goodness, that is just a cutie patootie. I think that's Heather's little baby. So adorable. All right, and you're also going to notice I have a really big number here of notifications. That's because I happen to be part of several different classes as I'm teaching teachers about Seesaw, so you won't normally have that high of a number. All right, well, I think we're going to go ahead and move on with our slideshow here. If you want to keep adding or joining in, you certainly can. If that's something you want to try later, that's absolutely fine as well. So let's go back to our presentation here. All right, so you saw how a first Seesaw entry looks. All right, sorry, my screen's kind of jumping around on you here. So let's check in with our class. So I kind of showed you what it looked like from the teacher point of view, which I think is pretty neat to be able to see what your students are doing. And it's live and it's in real time. So you can see what's coming in. So like right now I can go back to my notifications and I see we have 2 more notifications. So there's Becky with a beautiful picture behind her. And then I think we have one more of that really cute baby. Such a cool dude. All right. So I wanted to take some time to show you some other classroom examples of ways that Seesaw can be used. And my hope is that this will kind of trigger in you some ways you can think of using Seesaw in your classroom. Like I said, since I've started using Seesaw myself and have connected with more teachers, the amount of ideas is just overwhelming. There's just so many cool ways to use Seesaw in your classroom. So let's go ahead and check this out. So right here we have a couple of examples of a student explaining a math concept. And I think this is one of the neatest ways that we can use Seesaw in allowing students to explain their thinking, and they get to record it. So I'm going to show you this example real quick. And hopefully this will pop up fast.
This is a group of 16, and I figured out 16 is an even number because there is 8 groups of 2, and none left over. I can also do an addition sentence. 8 plus 8 equals 16.
Isn't that neat? So as he's working there, you can hear what he's thinking, and you're not having to bring home a stack of papers or a stack of math journals, because you can take this home or you can do this on your prep time. You can check that out, what he's doing, and hear his thinking at the same time, which I think is just a really cool idea. I'll show you, I am going to send you this presentation so you can look at all these links, but I would like to show you a couple more. So I wanted to show you the assessment check here.
I can read this week's sight words. There, about, explain, school, were, because, able, between, different, couldn't.
So again, what a great way to be able to check in on your students. And we know the time in class is so short. and to be able to actually listen to every student reading this week's words, you have that student recorded right there for you. And you can do settings where not every student would be able to see that if that's not something you want to share. So there's really a lot of flexibility in Seesaw, where you can set up things that everyone sees, that stuff they're really proud of, or the things that you want to keep just between you and that student, or you, that student, and their parent. So I'm going to go on here. There's a couple more examples. So doing the parallel lines, again, this is the student is recording themselves as they're writing and talking, so you can hear their thinking and see an example of their work. This is an example of Makerspace and Genius Hour. So we're going to watch this real quick. I think this is a short one, and see what the student did.
This is the circuit I made, and it didn't work at first because we had to switch around this piece right here, the positive and negative energy, and now you can see it works fine. Watch this. I'll switch on the switch. Just wait for it, and it will take off right now.
All right, so those are some really great examples, and like I said, you'll have this slideshow. This is an example of the journal writing, and also with the journal writing, you can have students do comments where they can share reflecting on each other's work and giving really good peer feedback. Some historical characters, another project there. So again, you'll be able to check on these later. So project 2 is using the drawing tool. I just think this is a really neat way in math for us to be able to take a picture of an assignment and have students solve it while they're drawing with their finger, or even if you gave them a stylus to write with. So one assignment I would like you to try as we're continuing to work here is to add a photo, draw on it, and add your voice. So the way that we would do this, again, I'm going to share my iPad screen with you so that you can see this. I found that adding a voice feature is really neat, and I really enjoy doing that with students when they're doing books. I found that that's a really great way for them to share, like take a picture of a book and then share what they thought of the book. Is a pretty neat way to use that voice feature. I know some teachers, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, have even used it with different apps. So it looks like you can see my screen there. So what we could do here is add, and what I'm going to do is add a drawing. And so I don't have a picture of a math problem, but I can go ahead and just start drawing here. There are some different tools they can use as far as changing the color, which is right over here on the side. They can erase, and they can even just do typing for those students who don't want to do drawing. But they can also record. So they can record right down here on the bottom what they are doing. Unfortunately, isn't technology great? We have only 10 minutes left in our video time with this, this Zoom that I'm using. So with that 10 minutes left, I actually want to continue going through the slides instead of doing examples, so that we have all that information. I didn't realize that there was a time limit, but you know what? We just go with the flow. So I'm going to go back to my slideshow here for you. I really want you to get as much information as possible. And then, you know, as always, I can come into your classroom and help you introduce this to your students. So video tool, another great tool. Students can take videos of themselves or videos of a classmate, record a partner reading a book out loud, and then swap. And they can use those annotation tools to label what happened in their story, which I think is pretty interesting. So now you've gotten a quick little firsthand view of how students add their items to your Seesaw journal. And like I said before, it really goes fast. Students really seem to catch on quickly to how to use Seesaw, and they get really excited about it, especially when you allow them to comment and like each other's things. And when you connect their parents and their parents get to see what they're doing, they get excited about that as well. So class setup. There's a couple videos here on the class setup checklist and how to set up a class code, or how to set up an email class. And I would suggest in a classroom that's one-to-one that you set up an email class, because then that way your students stay logged into the same account all the time and they don't have to log in and out. Now, if you're in a classroom like our 4th and 5th grade or our younger than 3rd grade classrooms, you'll want to set up a class with a class code, and you'll have to teach your students to just select their name, or like how you selected your number every time that they post a picture or an activity. That's the best way to do it with shared devices. So some time-saving tips. Use Seesaw, get all of your parents connected, and use Seesaw to send newsletters. Or you can use Seesaw to do something like a word cloud, and then you can record a voice sharing what happened in class. Or you could take a picture and, again, record yourself talking about what happened in class. A great way to connect with parents. You can create folders in Seesaw, and so you could have folders for different assignments. This is one way that I was able to keep some things that were public for the students, all the students to see, and for me to see, like their math assignments were all in one folder and they couldn't see each other's math assignments because I set the setting on that to not share. So that's a great way to have some things that they can see each other's work and some things where they can't. You can also watch the video here on how to create folders. It's a quick and easy thing to do, and it's a great way for you to be able to have all of their work in different folders, be able to quickly check it, give them feedback, and move on. I always, when I share with students, I say this is much easier for me to bring home a laptop or an iPad than 25 books or 25 papers. I'm not going to lose this. And so it's easier for me to see, hold them accountable, and give them faster feedback, which students always appreciate. App smashing is one of my favorite things to do with Seesaw. An app smash is where you take any other app and then use what you created in that app and put it into Seesaw. So in 3rd grade, we've been doing a lot of cool Chatterpix videos, and then the students upload those into Seesaw, and then they get to share with each other. Any of these apps listed here, you can then share what's created on that app into Seesaw. So it's a great way to smash 2 apps and give students practice with more than one app. Book Creator is an excellent way to app smash, or a reason to app smash, because one, in our district, Book Creator is free. We have the free version, or the paid version, excuse me. And 2, this is a great way you can share that book with everyone in the class. So students don't have to walk around with an iPad and tell their friends to read their book. They can all go on Seesaw and see everybody's books that they've created. So what I would like you to do is go ahead and make your plan. Start thinking about what are the next, what are the 3 things you're going to do with Seesaw. Maybe it's just getting it set up tomorrow. Maybe it's, getting your QR codes posted and having students do a first assignment. There's some really great, easy first assignments, but even just having students take a picture of a book and then write what they liked about that book, that's a great way to get them excited about Seesaw. Now, there's a teacher rollout calendar, which I used because I started Seesaw mid-year. This calendar is a great resource because it has something for every day to really get you using Seesaw. By the time you're done with this, your students are going to be pros, and you'll just need to say, hey, put that on Seesaw, and they'll have it figured out. So when you get this presentation, you'll be able to click on this and have access to the Seesaw plan. All right, so let's keep going here. Another resource, and I'm actually going to do a webinar on this, is they have student challenges for K2 and for 3-5 and even 6-8 that take students through getting all of the main ideas of Seesaw completed so that they can really be independent on Seesaw. So again, this would be something you might want to look into to put into your classroom. I find it to be very teacher friendly, and it's a great way for you and the students to walk through Seesaw together. So some digital citizenship resources that I think are incredibly important whenever we are doing Seesaw is that to only post while work. Always explain what's going on so students aren't just posting to post, they're explaining why they posted something. And we have a big talk about sharing information online. So in the Seesaw teacher resources, there's all these digital citizenship resources for you to use that have a whole lesson written out for you to use with your students. So a really great resource. And some exciting news, if you have not signed up for Seesaw yourself, if you scan this code, I will also send it to you in a link. You'll get a free month of Seesaw Plus. Some even more exciting news is that as a district or at our intermediate school, we are being given Seesaw Plus for the rest of the year. And as soon as I have that information figured out, I'm going to share that out with the staff. I'm working really hard to get that as an option for our primary school as well. They're letting us try it out for the rest of the school year, and then hopefully it's something we can look at maybe adding to our school. All right, so a couple other ways to get ideas. Follow Seesaw on Twitter, and if you're on Facebook, definitely join the Seesaw Teachers Group. I have seen some amazing ideas come out of that group, and they're ideas I hope to share on our blog and just through conversations with some of you. Contact me as well. Also, the help.seesaw.me just has great resources for using Seesaw. So here's some more student examples. So again, when you get this presentation, there's more examples for you to check out to really get some great ideas. So again, I apologize for one, changing the format on you tonight, and two, having our time run out a little shorter than I planned. But I hope you got some information about Seesaw so that you can get started using Seesaw in your classroom. And I hope you'll be able to enjoy us soon. We'll be doing another webinar, hopefully with Google Hangouts, on the Seesaw challenges, and we'll just continue to do more information. As always, feel free to give me a call, use my You Can Book Me, or email me so that we can set up a time to meet so that I can support your use of these great tools in your classroom. Have a great night. Thank you so much for joining.